Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on how to set up Box of Hope. My name is Jan-Hendrik Ewers, and I'm the lead programmer on this project. Box of Hope is a event-driven platform to keep you safe during this global pandemic. It uses NFC, Wi-Fi, and a couple more technologies. It also has an inbuilt sterilization functionality for the mask. So Box of Hope consists of three parts. We have the API, which is a RESTful API written in Express.js, and it uses a MongoDB as a backend. We have IO Server, which is our low-level C++ embedded server, so to say, and we have our web app, which is written in React. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to download the code, and we're going to do that in the Box of Hope GitHub repository. So we do that by navigating to releases down here and finding v1.2. This tutorial is for v1.2. The steps should stay the same for future releases, but for now this is just v1.2. I'm going to right click on Box of Hope _all and navigate to our terminal. I've already created the Box of Hope directory, so all I'm going to do is run a wget on it. Now we have our file, and we're going to just extract it into the local directory. So before we move on, we're just going to run a quick sudo apt get update. And then we're going to just install the dependencies. The dependencies can be found in the README relevant to which part you're installing. Right now we're just installing all of them, so we're running this. Okay, so the next stage is we have to install our WiringPy library. Now, throughout this project, we've been using some small functionality of WiringPy that wasn't actually included, so I've extended the library, and I'm hoping of getting this pull request merged soon. It's pull request WiringPy #102. So if that gets closed, please install from the WiringPy GitHub repo. But for now, we are going to cd into temp, because this is just a tutorial. I've already installed this in opt, and we're going to git clone the I wish I was an eagle /WiringPy repo. Then we go into here and run build. Okay, I've already done this on the system, so just follow the instructions on that repo. Back into Box of Hope. So now that we have all of our dependencies installed, including the WiringPy version that we need, we're just going to cd into IO server. We'll run cmake -s.-b build, and what this does, it just builds all of our cmake files into a build directory and keeps our IO server directory nice and clean. Next, we're actually going to compile the program. It's going to take a while. So that's now IO server built. We can quickly run this to double check that everything's built correctly. Yes, we're on version 1.2, and these are the commands. We'll get to that later. Now we're just going to install all the prerequisites for the for the web app and the API. This is going to take a while, so we'll do this in parallel. Run npm install to make sure that we have all the packages, and this is standard for Node.js. So like I said, I'm running tmux, so I can SSH back into the server, back into Box of Hope, into API, and run npm install as well. Okay, so the installation for API has finished, and I'm just going to close this terminal now. We'll wait for the web app installation to complete. Okay, now that the API is up and running, we're going to get the web app up and running. Before we start, we need to make sure of two things. We just set HTTPS equals to true in either the environment or before we run the command. And I'll do that in a second. The second thing is that we need to alter the package.json to reflect our local state. I'm going to be accessing the web app over the IP address. If you wish to access it via the host name, that's fine as well. Or if you want to just run on localhost, that's fine as well. However, you still need to change this here. The proxy just makes sure that any API endpoint that we call is actually run over this IP address that corresponds to our server. I've double checked this. This is my IP address of the Raspberry Pi and the port. Remember, it's just HTTP for the API for now. Then we're going to run HTTPS equals to true, npm start. This will take a while, so we'll forward this stage. Okay, now that it's up and running, we're going to Alt-Tab into a Firefox instance and head to the address that we chose. Ignore the error for now, that was just me debugging. Great. Going to allow the notifications, and we should see that we are now subscribed. If we head back to our API terminal, we should see some calls with some big URLs and keys. That's exactly what we want. Perfect, we're now subscribed, the web app is up and running, and so is the API. Now we need to get IO server up and running. For that, we're going to create a new terminal instance. Again, I'm using Tmux, so I'm just going to create a new tab, SSH back into our Raspberry Pi, and CD into where we want to go. For this, it's temp box of hope IO server. Remember, we previously built our IO server, so we don't need to compile it again. I'm going to quickly copy paste what I've usually running. So let's decipher what I've just written here. I'm running IO server sudo, and this is required for libnfc, as well as the is user home detection. Furthermore, I'm passing the API to jhg raspberry pi.local. What I was saying earlier about the web app doesn't apply here. And then the user IP address. I'm currently just using my phone, and I've just checked in my Android about section. It might be different for your iPhone or whatever device you're using, for example, a laptop. So let's just run this, and here we go. It's up and running. We have a tag. My Wi-Fi isn't actually on my phone right now, but that's beside the point. I've just turned the Wi-Fi on here, so it should connect at some point. If we now head back to IO server here, we're starting to see some stats being updated. Perfect. And that's how you get the Box of Hope development environment up and running. If you have any issues, please comment on the GitHub. You can create an issue under issues. You can start a discussion here, or you can access any one of us at our handles on Twitter. I've been Jan-Hendrik Ewers, your guide to the Box of Hope ecosystem, and thank you for watching.